I can channel the Archangels, and here's why I choose not to. About 5 years ago, I discovered that I could trance channel. And when you discover that you have this skill set that you didn't know was there, it is so exciting. And like anybody, I wanted to play with it. I wanted to discover what was possible here. And so I channeled as much as I could. I channeled the archangels, I channeled the ascended masters, I channeled gods and goddesses, I channeled beings from other star systems, I channeled my higher self, I channeled other people's higher selves. I couldn't get enough of it. The experience itself was pretty invigorating, and I have to say the response was too. And I want to talk a little bit about that because I learned a lot from developing this ability, and it might not be what you expect. All my life, I never felt important. I never felt intelligent. I never felt valuable. I never felt like I had abilities or skill sets or knowledge or wisdom or talent that set me apart or that made me interesting. And I always felt a lot of frustration and shame around that because I really wanted to prove my worth. I really wanted people to recognize me and love me and see potential in me. And I just always felt pretty invisible. And when I discovered that I could trance channel, it's like my world flipped on its head because I felt special. I felt like I had this ability that was relatively rare, that everybody has access to, but I figured it out. And I was pretty good at it. And I really wanted to spend some time exploring it. Like, what was really possible for me here? What could I achieve with this? And so I played with it as much as I could. And I channeled as many different beings as was possible. And the experience of trance channeling is wonderful because you feel this incredible love beyond anything that you could possibly imagine. And you feel this grounded power of this being just like owning itself inside of you. And it also required that I surrender because I was showing up to events or sessions with clients or just recording messages, and I had no idea what to expect. And that was terrifying to me, where I was getting ready to speak for 90 minutes and I had no idea what I was going to say until the words were coming out of my mouth. So I had to really learn trust and surrender, and that was very valuable to me. And so I found myself really relying on this ability to anchor into my personal power and to teach a sense of self-trust that I was very grateful to have the opportunity to learn. And not only that, but for the first time, I felt noticed. People wanted to watch my channeled works. They wanted to hire me to channel their higher self. They wanted me to speak in front of their communities. They wanted me to speak inside of their webinars and their events that they were planning. And I felt like I was finally accessing this expression of who I was that felt always out of reach. And like, finally it was here and I was doing it. And I was achieving some sort of recognition that I so desperately wanted. But very slowly, I started to feel a little bit of resistance with channeling. And it began subtly, where I would be in session with a client and I would be trance channeling their higher self. And me as Amanda, like sitting in the back seat watching the session unfold, felt like things were being missed and that there were opportunities being bypassed that would have been so helpful if I had had a chance to be there and to explore it with them or ask additional questions. And I started to feel confined by the channeling itself. At first, that made me frustrated because if I was channeling this being of light, then they should know best, right? Like they should know how to navigate a client session in a way better way than I could as myself. I'm just still like a human. Like, what do I know? And I felt frustrated that those channeled sessions just didn't feel as valuable as they could have been had I had more of an opportunity to be involved in them. And then I began to notice other small things too. Like people really wanted to hear me channel, but they weren't as interested in what I had to say. Like my voice, my life experiences, my truth just felt a little bit less impactful than if it was coming from a channeled light being. And I began to notice very slowly that my voice felt less powerful, less valuable, less important or profound as the voice of the beings that I was channeling. And a part of me recognized that that wasn't an empowered place to be. And I began to reflect on myself and my life. And I recognized that I've been through a lot. And I have a lot of perspective from what I've experienced. And a lot of very interesting and valuable things to say. And that I was diminishing my voice in favor of what I was channeling. And that didn't feel good. And I decided that I no longer wanted that to be the case, that I felt like I had a lot to share and I wanted to. And so I set aside time to begin to explore what that could look like. And I found myself hesitating and fearful and doubtful that anybody would care what I had to say. And I didn't even trust that I would do a good job because what I would say wouldn't be as profound as what I would channel and or as impactful or as wanted. And I struggled with how I was going to say it and what if I couldn't say it properly. And I realized that I really was undervaluing and diminishing my voice, my truth, and I lacked so much confidence in my ability to just express it that I had become so reliant on channeling that when I was given an opportunity to just talk about myself and what I believe, I was afraid to. And I felt so much self-doubt around that. And I began to truly see that the channeling had offered me a lot. But the greatest gift that it was reflecting back to me was how much I didn't believe in me or feel comfortable showing up as me and being seen as me. And the biggest aha moment for me was truly recognizing that every single channeled message from every single being of light was saying the same thing. And if you go back and you watch them, you'll see this too. The thing that they talk about in every single message is sitting in your own power, speaking your own truth, and feeling your own light. And here I was, hearing those messages, channeling those messages, and living in complete contradiction to them. So I decided to take a step back from channeling in the same way. And I no longer feel called to channel beings of light and just to channel loving messages from them. Instead, I'm still channeling, but I'm channeling experiences to help you or whoever's interested have these truths reflected back to them in the way that they've been reflected to me. That so many of us don't feel comfortable sitting in our power and using our voice and believing in our own wisdom and having these guided experiences where you see that and feel that and are given an opportunity to learn how to reverse that by learning how to tap into your own intuition, feel what's true for you, and work with all of the self-doubt that evokes. And in turn, become your own channeled light being that is just as powerful, just as knowledgeable, and just as capable as the beings that you look up to. So, my loving question for you is, where do you not value your own voice? Where do you not take the time to use it because it feels uncomfortable or unfamiliar or scary to do so? Where do you not trust your own wisdom because you've been taught not to? And where do you avoid taking the time to tune into your own intuition and to ask yourself what feels right for you and begin to trust that? And can you see that the beings of light that you so beautifully look up to are a direct reflection of what's available for you when you choose to? If you're ready to become your own trusted channel and to use your own voice and to tap into your own intuition to guide your life where you have been doubting in your ability to, I go live on YouTube Mondays and Wednesdays and channel beautiful guided experiences to help you get into a practice of doing that. And I would love for you to join me.